Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Focusing on the lives, experiences, and viewpoints of motherlode women, the show features a rotating cast of 4 women of all ages and from all walks of life. Quick, upbeat, and fast-paced with a variety of topics, this 1-hour show will be aired live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Tune in, it's Just Between Us.
Good morning and welcome to Just Between Us. It is Mother's Day weekend, so we want to wish all of you lovely ladies out there a very, very happy Mother's Day, and especially to our daughters who are moms, which is important. I'm Susie from Volcano.
I am Donna from Sutter Creek.
And I am Gina Woods from Thousand Oaks and Once Upon a Time, Grass Valley.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank
Gina.
you.
It's so nice to have you here. And Gina, you're familiar not only with this area, but you have friends in this area also.
I do. A lot of them live in Grass Valley and Nevada City and Penn Valley.
Great.
So,
well,
yeah,
welcome to
I like
Hamilton County.
Thanks.
And I'm
Hi
sure,
to all her friends.
I'm sure
Hi.
that there's somebody out there that's going to recognize you and say, hey, there's Gina.
Oh, that'd be fun, right? That'd be fun, yeah.
Missy, I want to tell you, congratulations on your new show. You are
Thank you.
doing a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Wonderful job. We got to
Pick
pick
topics.
First two
Okay,
topics.
so
Here.
thank you. I'm going to take the top two.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one's the media. Go ahead and
Roll the dice.
roll.
4.
Do you feel that with people's busy lives, we don't take time and watch or read more about current events and our judicial system?
Yes. Oh,
Gina.
do I have to roll?
It's okay, honey.
Death
don't know how this
penalty
game
or
works.
life without parole? Which do you feel serves the ultimate verdict? That's
Well,
good.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a very, very short break and stay with us because when we come right back, we're going to discuss these two topics with Gina and Donna.
And now back to Just Between Us.
Oh, we're back. There we are. There we are.
Okay, our first question. Do you feel that with people's busy lives, we don't take time or watch and read about current events?
No, I think, well, I say no, but then with the social media and everything that's just quick, just right there, there's no reason not to know what's going on. My question is when you hear or read something, does it sink in and do you massage it to what you want it to mean or what's really being reported? I think that's
Right.
more important.
Yeah, I think people don't look at things, the reality of it, and you're right, they do make it their own. Because a lot of people don't have that, that gift of being able to look at things, you know, really for what it is.
So you just
You know,
called
it's
half
kind
the
of like a
audience
bias.
stupid. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks
Too,
very
if you're
much.
following somebody on social media and it's they're against it or they're for it or something, you can almost follow their lead instead of basing your own opinion. I notice that all the time, especially with like the advancements of Facebook and Twitter. They're telling you right now what's going on, but it's whatever they feel. And I know that people
Right,
will
yeah.
actually say, well, did you hear what Bob said
Right.
about what just happened? And then they start mimicking. So I absolutely think that
Well,
people need to spend
isn't
more
it,
time.
Gina, like that you whisper something to somebody and then they massage it and it moves to somebody else?
Yeah,
Yes.
what was that game when you're a kid?
Yeah,
by the time-
telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time it gets to the end, it's completely different. And I think that is really the most important part about the communication today and getting to know the news today. I mean, let's face it, we're just getting things in almost in real time.
Real time. Mm-hmm.
Which is I think is so very, very important. But yeah, I think what I really like today is I think that women are more into what's going on. Also, when I grew up, Mom cooked, did the laundry, the whole thing. When Dad came home, they watched the news. He read the newspaper. He was the one that knew what was going on. And
Right, it was a newspaper that they got the news from.
Absolutely, and
Right.
there was
Right.
just like the 6 o'clock news one time, and that was it. And newspapers, and of course, they can put their spin or whatever they want on what's being televised and or in print. So I think it's today. I think with between the cable news and talk radio and all of these sources, you can go on your computer and have things just pop up like that and tell you. I don't think that there's any excuse not to know what's really going on. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
especially like with 9/11, with Boston, with all these terrible things that have happened, within 5 minutes, where before it would take 5 hours
That's
you
right.
know. And so I think it's really very important that
Well, and you have to be careful too, because like the other day something popped up on Yahoo, and it said that Eddie Murphy.
Yoo-hoo is somewhere else. we won't dial that number right now. We won't dial that number right here, right now. But
That's funny.
well, of
No, but
course it
said
is.
that Eddie Murphy was murdered or died.
Yeah.
And I yelled at my daughter, "Oh my gosh, Eddie Murphy died!" And my daughter said, "Mom, he's died like 10 times. It's a hoax."
Yeah.
So I'm like doing fact check, you know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, how sad is that?"
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you do got to pay attention.
You do.
Yeah.
You have to, and not only it's just considered the source. Is
Right.
that if there's a lot of news agencies out there that have had to retract and say, okay, this was our initial, and now we have to come back and we have
I think
to.
the other thing too is that the media can make us think a certain way. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, between CNN and Fox News, it's total opposite news that you
Right,
get, and
right.
they harp on one issue, and the other
That's
one
right.
harps on
On the
another
other.
issue,
Right.
and you can clearly see the
Yeah.
line.
Well, there you, go.
Separating the two.
Left and right.
Right,
And
and so it depends on who you watch as well.
But the one thing I have to say about Fox, the one thing that I have to say is that I have watched where if they make an error, they will come back and say, we need to correct this. Megan
Yes,
Fox the
they
other
do.
day, when they were doing the Boston massacre over there, when they were talking about that, they were throwing stuff out, and she says, I need to come back. I need to come back and retract because we're getting updated information. That is the one thing that you see on live TV. You need to come back and you need to do things. Another thing that drives me up a wall about a lot of that is the editing that they do.
right.
And they report what they want to report. But all in all, I think that it's the media is great today. I think that it is so exciting that we get to see things in not only real time, but we see up-to-date things. I mean, it's just not what they want you to hear. It's what's happening.
Right.
And I think that that's important. And you both have been involved in the media, and
Yeah.
so you know.
Well,
know
it
how-
is important to get the facts right.
Yeah.
Because it affects everybody.
You bet.
You know, so if you're going to tell the story, you better be able to tell it to the best of your ability. Because if not, nobody's ever going to want to hear your stories again.
And
you
it
know?
affects a lot of people. One story could affect a whole family.
That's
you know,
right.
you just
Believe
don't
it.
understand how many people it affects. So you got to be very cautious.
That's right.
And how you tell it. I mean, yes, we need to tell the facts. I get that. But we also need to
But you can tell
realize
them-
that there are sometimes some stories that, there's some that I won't do, clearly, because I just don't think it needs to be out there because it'll affect children in
Right.
some
Right.
way, or
Right.
a mother or father. So there's just some that you just don't want to talk about.
You
Now-
find the proper time, and you get
Right, it has to be the
instead
right
of reporting
moment.
it now, you get all the behind
Facts.
details and report it in an hour or two.
Facts.
Okay, let's
That's
move
right.
on.
Okay,
The
so
judicial system, am I right?
yep, death penalty or life without parole. Which do you feel serves the ultimate verdict?
What do you think, Gina?
You know what? It's interesting because
Depends on if you're in solitary confinement or not, right?
Well, it depends on how badly you want to punish somebody. Because to me, the death penalty is easy. You know, it's quick. So for me personally, I look at putting somebody away is way the ultimate punishment.
Yeah.
For me personally, the other way to me is easy. But I prefer that if they've done it, like this woman here who just acts
Jody,
yeah.
Arias,
yeah.
yeah.
Just
And I'm
yeah.
just like, why are we feeding her and housing her?
Yeah, but see, that's just
You
it.
know?
I think it depends on, what the crime is. I think to me, if somebody's murdered somebody, I mean, why are we paying for them to live a life? And,
But
a lot of
I
times
don't
now,
understand
they're in
that.
prison, they get these extra stuff. I mean,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. If they're in solitary confinement the rest of their life, that's
right.
man, that's ultimate punishment.
I feel that I used to be pro-death penalty, and I still am to a certain extent. However,
Circumstances.
Yeah, it
however,
depends on the circumstance.
With Jody Arias, and I watched that trial, okay, and now she's saying in that interview that I really would prefer to die. It's free and freedom and this and that. No, you know what? You need to sit in a jail cell for at least 10 years before they put you to death and think about what you have done. And this man that kidnapped these 3 girls
my
and
Oh
had
my
them
God.
chained,
Okay, let's not talk.
they're gonna
Oh, he's sick.
they're
Oh,
gonna
my
go there
God.
and they're going to find
And that little girl that was raised. Oh my God! It
they're
just
going to
makes me
find that
sick.
he killed some of those babies. You mark my words, they're going to find he
Oh,
deserves
yeah.
the death penalty.
And he tried to blame it on his father. He said my father or uncle abused him when he was a kid. Did you
you
see
know
all that?
yeah,
that
there's
was just
lo-
BS.
No. There's a lot of people that have been abused in their life, and what do? They turn things around,
right.
and the majority of them turn things around, and they go out there and they say, "I'm not going to do this to
Right.
my
They
children,
Make a decision to be better.
and I'm going to make a decision."
Well, there's no excuses. There's no
None,
excuse
none.
for anybody that would hurt somebody like that.
No,
It's just
but I
sickening.
watched this trial, and believe me, I think that there's a lot more to that did not come out. I mean, she went through dog doors, she hid behind couches, she did things to catch him. She was a stalker.
Right.
All in all, I think she's a very disturbed woman.
Oh,
You think?
No,
Yeah.
seriously, I think
sorry.
that there's more.
Yeah.
There's
really.
more than just that act of
She's
violence.
a psychopath.
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
crazy.
When you can
Didn't they
stab,
figure out she
when
is?
you can
She's
stab
crazy.
a man 29 times and slit his throat and almost decapitate him, that was a frenzy.
Yeah.
That was a total frenzy.
It's like a shark.
They
Honestly,
had
just
something
Yeah.
transacted between those two that made them go nuts. And everybody's saying, "Well, how can she just turn when they had sex before and this and that?" How does anybody know they had sex? How does
when her
anybody know what
mentally,
went on?
If she's not, she obviously mentally she's not all there.
She might have walked
Those
in.
people can snap at any moment.
She might have
They
walked through
just
that
snap.
door. He told her more than once, "You're the worst thing that's ever happened to me." She might have walked through that door and confronted him because he was taking the other girl to on vacation. They didn't even have to have sex. That whole thing about the knife being upstairs because of the rope and all of this, nobody knows the truth but her, and God rest his soul, Travis. And that kid was a wonderful young man, and believe me, this is
and
it's
the way
more
the
than
defense tried to make him out to be this just horrific guy to
I
save
mean,
her.
to save her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? We're allowed to break up with people. That's why we call it
Yeah.
dating.
Right.
You know, it's not like till death do us part here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
It doesn't
That's
work
the
out.
truth.
She had
Well,
no right to.
the thing is that when you marry somebody and when you say till death do us part, if they're caught doing something, they got to go to sleep sometime. So you better you better think
Get out
twice.
that frying pan.
Yeah.
Hear that, Kyle?
But the fact remains is that it's pathetic on how people can get on the stand and ruin the reputation. They had this kid as a pedophile. They had this kid as
That's just sick.
no scruples or whatever. There is absolutely no proof. And his family had to sit. I watched his family every day with dignity sit through that whole thing.
Can you imagine? That's
And
just
and I feel sorry for Arias's family. I mean, her mother and her aunt were there every day, just about, and to have to endure and to see pictures of her
no,
up
I can't
there.
imagine. As a mother,
yeah, and your child
You
doing
know,
something
yeah,
like that,
how do
you
you- how
feel
do you
so
live-
guilty.
And
Yeah,
there
how
were
do you live
pictures
with
of her
that?
nude that she had taken for him and he had taken of her. I mean, where is the dignity of the court? We know that those pictures exist. Why do you have to show them?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that is a private...
To everyone in there,
Right.
including the family members, it's
It's
like
a private,
there's no
intimate,
reason, right?
playing tapes where he's
But
telling
does she
her...
deserve? But who cares at this point? I mean, she murdered
Well, they
the
didn't
guy,
really see
so
their
who
son,
cares?
though.
Let her suffer and let her photos be out there.
Yeah.
She did what she did.
It's
so
just
she was
ugly.
found guilty, and if they're
But
going to
in
show her
Calif-
nude pictures and it hurts her, oh well.
There you go. We have in the state of California,
going on.
I don't think we
Yeah.
have the death penalty anymore because it's cruel and unusual. Well, what the hell did you do to the people? Is that not cruel and unusual what you did to the
Yeah.
victim? Why is it that when the victim comes up and all of a sudden the victim becomes the person that's under the magnifying glass? And we're losing perspective here. We can't bring certain things up in court. No, that's not admissible. That's a past situation. No, by gosh, everything should come out about that person. You want the facts? Here's all the facts. And it's the same thing with this admonishment, what they did with this kid. They could have gotten more information. thank God that that this whole mess is going to come to an end. We need to pick 2 new topics.
Okay.
Roll the dice? Or did I already do
Not
that?
yet. I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick. Whoops.
We
I've
have
got-
a free-for-all.
Here,
Okay, so we have a free-for-all and jewelry.
Oh,
you guys
boy.
get jewelry.
So do you want to roll
As you
the
can
dice?
See, I'm not a jewelry person. 3.
Okay, do you know how to spot the real jewels when you see them? Yes, I do.
I don't.
I should have
don't
brought the
either.
ring.
I don't. And then we have a free-for-all. And Donna, you're going to do the free-for-all?
Yeah, I want to talk about, because it's Mother's Day, military moms.
Great.
Moms who have kids in the military, moms who are serving in the military.
Wonderful. We're going to take a
And-
short break, and
Yep.
when we come back, Donna and Gina and I are going to discuss that.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Welcome back to AM Live. And do you want to do the jewelry or you want to do your free-for-all first?
Let's do the jewelry really quick. Do you know how to spot real jewels when you see them?
No.
No.
I just assume everybody has real jewels. Why not?
Yeah.
Your jewels are real.
Are
Especially
they?
your-
Are
Yeah.
they? Are they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Thank
Really?
you.
Especially,
Is this
Thank
real?
you.
Yeah, especially
These
her.
are. Those are my
Mine are
jewels.
too. You can tell they're real by the way they
Yeah, they
do their
sparkle.
thing.
This is not. No, this is.
Okay.
Yeah, your engagement ring is.
Yeah,
That's
better be.
That's Kyle's
the
jewelry.
man.
That's-
And this is just something I picked up. You know, it's
It's
just
pretty.
fashion jewelry, which I love. I wear it all the time on my show.
I think it's
my
fun.
little watch.
I think it's fun. I think it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun. And you know, I look at it this way: who cares whether it's real or not? What difference does it
yeah.
does it
what
make?
does it make? It
I mean,
doesn't.
it really doesn't.
It's like when we talk about the reality shows and the housewives, and the one they
Oh.
were at a luncheon or something, and she said, they go, "Oh, that ring is so pretty," and she goes, "Well, this is my fake one. I don't wear the real one." They're like, "Why would you have a real one that costs you $40,000 and lock it up in a thing
speaking
and
about
not wear
that,
it?"
those women of Orange County, they better get themselves together.
I haven't
What
seen it. Is it out now again?
I've never seen
Yes. What is with them? Vicky got a chin implant and stuff.
What does she look like?
Terrible. I it just doesn't look like her. But you got to go and watch. They'll do the whole, the whole series there, and then you'll catch up and the whole thing. But anyway, their jewels are real,
Well,
except for what's her name? Yeah. She keeps the other ones in the vault. Okay. Well, cool.
but
If-
see, why would you make a ring identical to the one that you have and lock the real one up in a vault
but
and
you
wear
know
the
what?
fake one?
A lot of movie stars do that. Did you know that?
I just think it's stupid. If
Well-
you have that jewelry, show it off. I mean, if you're so
Then
proud
why
of
have
it.
something
But-
if you're not
but
going
they-
to wear
but
it?
they
I don't
feel-
get it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like-
what I don't get.
But they feel it looks like the real deal, so they don't worry about it. They just say, "Yeah, it's mine," and I guess they just do things like that. To me, what difference does it really make? I mean, I think that when you have the real deal, you know it. You don't have to say this is the real deal. Like a lot of people ask me, "Wow, is that real?" No, it's not.
And don't you think it's rude when people ask?
No, but I get
I
asked.
Yeah,
kinda
I've
like,
never
why would
asked.
you-
I mean, just now I did, but
I get
normally
at
never
rude.
do. Yeah, I know, right?
Seriously, you would not ask. Did you just not
I
ask?
should have assumed that you would wear nothing that wasn't
I
fake.
get.
That's
I,
right.
I do have my one gold band with a lot of diamonds in it. I do have that one in a vault, and because I don't want to scuff it up all day and to do that.
Yeah.
But if I want it, I have to go to the vault and get it. But that's the only piece of jewelry
Yeah.
that I would say that I would keep in the vault. The rest I wear.
Right.
And some of it's real, some of it's not. As a matter of fact, I had some diamond earrings that were real, and I told Courtney, when you graduate, these are yours. So, like a dumbbell, she said, "Okay, Noni, I graduated from junior high." And I said,
I'm at college.
I said, "Okay, they're yours." So she wears them when she goes to the proms and the balls and stuff. So I said, "No, they're yours. They're yours." I gave them to her. So I wear fake ones now. I can't afford the real deal anymore.
I lose half my stuff
But you know
anyways.
what? That's important what you just talked about, because my mom was married to my dad and then they got divorced. And for years she had this diamond, like a princess cut diamond, ring that she said was mine. But she'd never give it to me.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I'll give it
I
to you
gave-
one day. I'll give it to you. Well, I get in my 40s. And I'm like, "Hey, Mom, when am I going to get that ring?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, I'll give it to you." So then I get divorced. and I have 2 rings. I have my ring from the time, my mother's marriage, and then my ring, and I have 2 girls. So I decide, you know what, I have to give them each a ring. So I let them choose which ring they want, and they each pick the perfect ring for them. But then a couple months later, I'm at my mom's, and she said, what happened to your ring? And I said, I gave it to Shay. And at this point, Shay's like 18, 19 years old. And out of her mouth comes, good, I'm glad to see somebody's wearing it. And I'm thinking, I had to wait till I was 40 until you gave it to me.
Happy Mother's Day.
I know, right? But I love that story. So now I always see Shay wearing it. And
that is
you should
cute.
wear them.
Yes.
You should wear them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you
Absolutely.
100%. Okay, on to your free-for-all, my dear.
I want to thank all the mothers that are serving in the military.
Absolutely.
I want to thank them because it's Mother's Day, and then there's mothers with children who are serving.
Right.
And since Gina was a mom of a Marine, I just wondering when Mother's Day passed, without crying or anything.
Oh,
how was
yeah.
that for you?
You know what was beautiful was that, when you have a child that's serving in the Marines, you wake up on Mother's Day, and the first thing you think is, especially when they're serving, when they're abroad, you think, oh my gosh, what if something were to happen to my son? But for me, what is beautiful is that their friends rally. It's kind of cool. So Mother's Day comes, and I wake up, and here's Chris and Travis standing in my living room with flowers. For me.
His friends?
For Mother's
my
Day.
gosh.
And I'll never forget that. It was kind of like, because they were my boys too. And they knew. They woke up knowing that my heart would be breaking, for my son. So I think sometimes, and at that moment, my attention went from away kind of from my son, to, oh my gosh, this was the sweetest thing ever, that we almost don't have to give birth to our kids to love them, and they understood the dynamics of what I was going through.
And I wish I never
Yeah.
went through that. I still
Yeah.
have scar tissue, thank you.
No, but I think it's just, I think it was nice to be remembered, and I think what they knew was that I would be missing my son.
Yeah.
And they showed up to kind of serve. So where my son was serving his country, somebody else's 2 sons were serving me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I
think
didn't have
that's-
to be abroad.
that is
They came
beautiful.
here and
Yes,
comforted
it's
me.
just
Yeah, so I
How
love
wonderful.
that story.
And I
Yeah.
do believe, because I had 2 daughters, but I can see it with my daughter. She has a daughter, and then she had John, who's 10, who may live to 12 if we let him. But it's really cool because there's a bond there. It is so different, and there is a bond with mothers and sons that is so much different than you would think. And just like I'm watching Paul, my son-in-law, with Courtney, there's a bond there.
Yeah.
But both the kids, they're great parents, and they're close to the kids. But you can see this special bond because I grew up, I never had that, and I think that it's really, really important to have that. But I do believe mothers that are serving in the military, and they're waking up over there now,
Oh, yeah.
and the whole thing, and knowing that their little ones are at home with dad or grandma or grandpa or whatever.
Right.
And that must be tough. But here we go again with the social media. You can Skype with Kyle all the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which I think is
I'm very lucky.
it's so nice, and it keeps the relationship like you're gone but you're not gone. You know what I mean?
And we text all the time. He
And
texts my phone all the time. Like this morning, I got a message saying he landed where he was supposed to be, and he's doing what he's doing. And they actually have people visiting for Mother's Day, which I think is really cool.
How
it actually is
great.
really a neat idea.
How great. Now he's back in I know you can't divulge where he is, but he's in Afghanistan.
Yes, he is.
He's in the Middle
Yes.
East again.
Yes,
okay.
and there are some people visiting right now, and he's taking them around. So I think it's really neat.
Great.
We'll hear about it in the news.
Great. Well, Kyle,
In the
God
news.
bless you.
Yep.
In the news.
In the
In
news.
my news.
Yes, but there's a special heart for a place in your heart for mothers that serve in the military. Who would have thunk it years ago, huh?
Yeah.
And there they are.
I love it.
I do
Well,
too.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this because
Yeah.
Gina wrote an article about the book that I wrote and just about me in general and the new show. And she has a column in Gal Time, which is really good. So look for Gina Woods in Gal Time. She's an excellent writer. I mean, I love what you do.
Great, Gina.
But
Congratulations.
we wrote about this book, and everybody was giving positive feedback. And then a gentleman had written, and he goes, what about the men that stay home?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh. She said, well, if you'd like, I'll write an article about you too. I'd love to hear the other side of it. You know, because we forget about the dads that are staying
Yeah.
home because the women are serving.
Yeah.
So we can't
and
forget
these
them.
and these are the dads that
And they're
get up.
taking over for mom for Mother's Day.
They're,
And
yeah,
right.
and they're
Yeah.
getting up in the morning, getting the kids off to school. They're going to work.
Yep,
They're coming
that's right.
home. They're fixing dinner. They're tucking them in at night, and the whole time they're thinking, "Where is my wife? And what is she doing? And how is she? Is she safe?
okay?
You
See, I think that's the biggest thing is the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely.
You know, because there's a lot of people, and I've had this, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
But what's so different about my husband works out of town. He's gone for 2 weeks and comes back, and I don't get to see him. And I think the difference is that
They're in a war zone.
it's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
know if tonight's the last night that you're going to talk to him, and there's always that element. Because even when my son was in Iraq, there was always that element of, will this
Absolutely.
be my last letter? Would this be the? Not that you mean to think that way.
No, but you
cherish
have
it.
to think that
You
way.
know,
Right.
you completely cherish those
Right.
conversations. So,
Right.
in some ways, I think military people have been given a great gift because we do understand the value of time
Mm-hmm.
and freedom. Where sometimes we get so caught up in our, oh, he's going to work, he'll be back.
Yeah.
You know, and things just kind
Well,
of get
you
complacent.
know, Gina, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, you know, they're not out there fighting for our freedom. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. There's people that are anti-military out there. Let's face it. They don't
Yes.
get it. And I'll tell you what.
Which is sad because
They don't understand what our military does. It's
No.
not just, oh, they're spending money on a war again. That is
Right.
not the bottom line, people.
Right.
You don't understand. And of course, it's their ignorance, and you have to overlook it. But, you know, go research what the military does. Go research why we have. I have heard people say, well, why are we in South Korea? Why are we in Japan? Why are we here? Because you have treaties and they put you there, and you're honoring what
right,
you
yeah.
said you were going to do.
That's right.
Before you engage the mouth, go and do the history
Yeah,
and
exactly.
understand,
Right?
and understand
That's true.
what we do around the world.
Right.
You know, and hey, this
It
country
is,
can't
it's what we
run.
do.
This country can't run without your military. It just can't, and people have to understand that. Do your research before you say and
Right.
criticize.
That's right.
right.
We're going to go on to our last two topics, ladies, which is another free-for-all. So we'll be thinking about that.
And communication.
Gina.
Roll the dice.
Communicate. Oh, no, yeah.
That's
We're
what communicating.
communicating.
Do you feel we have lost the art of or compassion of communication due to social media?
Uh-huh. Well, we'll soon find out. Stay with us, and we're going to be right back.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Just Between Us.
Okay, now welcome back to Just Between Us. Not AM Live, Just Between Us. I'm so used to saying AM Live because I'm here from like 6:30 in the morning on, and I lost it. I am Susie from Volcano. I remember that.
I don't know.
Donna?
who I am. I am Donna from Sutter Creek.
And I'm Gina. I'm their guest.
No, you're going to be a part of the JBU
You're
family.
coming back again. Yeah.
You're going to be a part of the family. Hey, I think what we want to do first is we want to do our topic, and then we're going to take and do our free-for-all.
And the topic is communication. Do you feel we have lost the art of compassion, of communication due to social media? Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you go to dinner at a restaurant and you see the whole family texting.
I know.
Including
It's
the
like
father
this.
and the mother.
drives
You know,
me nuts.
it's so rude.
It drives me nuts. We go to
It's just so rude.
We go to like Courtney's softball games and this and that and whatever. Everybody's texting. I have a phone. I forget. I don't even know how to turn it on. Half the time it's in my purse, and you hear beeping. I'm going, oh my God, what is it? And John goes, you need to plug it in and put the battery. Oh, how do I do? It's crazy. I don't do any of that. I'm lucky if I email. I love to engage people in conversation, and I think that it's so very, very important to do that. And is the art of communication gone? No. I think we're communicating more today than we ever have. I'm going to go back to our grandparents and our parents. They never talked about certain things.
Right.
They never communicated certain things. They were in the house sometimes 5-6 days a week, went to church, went to shopping, came home. They didn't verbalize and communicate a lot of things that were going
And
on.
some things were not okay to talk about.
Yeah, say back in the day you weren't allowed to
taboo.
talk. Now people talk about everything.
Everything.
You know?
Yes.
My mom was always very open. We were allowed. My dad wasn't. My dad was complete opposite. So I grew up in a house where, I got kind of the best of both worlds, where I could see, someone is a little more conservative and someone is a little more open.
Right,
My mom,
right.
we were allowed to talk about stuff. And she made it comfortable for us to go to her and talk about anything. So that's,
See, no, I was raised in a very strict Italian Catholic home.
and talk about stuff.
No. Matter of fact, I don't even remember sitting down more than once or twice and talking to my father in a serious way, and my mother never talked about anything. Never.
Mine didn't either.
No.
Yeah.
One time.
My mom was so open. But you see how she is, though. She's just,
Oh, your mother's great.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
she is.
And the thing is that
love her.
you can joke, you can kid, you can laugh and stuff. My mother, no, sexual matters, anything like that, you never talked about. It's like when my daughter Danielle, it was so cute.
Yeah.
When she was pregnant, I said, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. There'll be the screaming, the yelling, the moaning and groaning." I said, "That's the sex part. Wait until you go into labor." And oh my, if I would have said that in front of my mother, I would have need to glue 3 or 4 more of these in.
But don't you think that was like, sometimes I think it was show, because later on in life I hear from different people that my mother was a much different person.
Yes.
But yet, if we don't talk about it, then it's not real.
Right.
And I
Right.
think it was kind of a facade. I think people had to behave a certain way, or they were thought of in a different way, even though they weren't bad people.
Yeah.
And they did the same things that we did,
Right,
as kids.
right.
But it's interesting. When my kids were growing up, I had this thing, what you say in the car stays in the car. And so what you'd have to do is you'd get in the car and they would say, roll up the windows. We'd roll up the windows. They could cuss. They could scream. They could talk about anything that they wanted to talk about. But the minute they got out of the car, they could never repeat it again.
Now today they get arrested for
Yeah.
road rage.
No, but it turned out to be a great way of communication.
What
know
are all
what I
those
mean?
little kids doing
Yeah.
screaming?
Yeah, but
All
it's
those little
good
kids are
because you
cussing.
have to be able to,
I agree.
say
I
I
like,
did that with
cute.
my nephews
Yeah.
when they were little. I put them in the car and they said, "Can we say this or that?" And I'm like,
Okay.
okay.
In the car.
In the car. I did
That's
the same
right.
thing
That's
with the boys.
right.
Liam will tell you. Liam will tell you.
I'm going to spend a lot of time in my car this week.
But you have to have the windows rolled up.
Okay.
That was
I'll
the
do
thing.
roll
And you know
that.
why? Because in the heat, that calmed him down. It got too hot, and it was like, we got to roll the windows down. Okay, you're
Can't
done?
cuss
You done?
anymore.
Yeah.
You can tell this is a long time ago because you rolled the windows down.
Exactly. I know. Look at me.
Yeah, that is so funny. Yeah. I just think open communication I think is great, and my granddaughter loves to be around older people, like parents'
Yeah.
age and grandparents' age, and I can converse and do things with her that I didn't do with my girls. My girls and I have a really, really good rapport. We always have.
Yeah.
Everybody has their ups and downs. I was very blessed. I didn't have very many down times. And the girls are close, so it really makes it great. Watch, I'll go out of here and
They're
they'll
home
be
talking
pulling
about
their hair
her.
out.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah, because once in a while
She
they
thinks we
catch-
like her, but
Yeah, they catch
And I
the
think
show.
it's if you're a son of a man, it's different to go talk to the dad than it is the mom
Yeah.
sometimes. And then
Yeah.
the girls always went to the mom to talk.
Right.
I mean, now I can sit and talk to my dad about anything. I mean, I just spent 5 days with him up in Lake Tahoe, and
How exciting.
all we did was talk. We talked about everything: politics, life.
I think
new
it's
show.
important.
That's right.
One of the most touching and the best relationships I've seen between a mother and a son is Cam and Sharon Merzlach. They have the most wonderful relationship. I mean, there is nothing that these two can't sit down and talk about. I mean, they're
That's
just
good.
They are just great, and it's really touching because she is such a good mom with Cam, and she's gone to him for, everything, and vice versa. And it is so nice to see adults like that and have
Right.
that type of relationship. I think it's very,
Right.
very important. All right, my dear, we're going to go on to our next free-for-all, and I want you and Gina to tell our viewers, because you will be coming back. If I have
Thank
to
you.
come
Yeah.
pick
This is
you
fun.
up,
No, this is fun. Yeah.
if I have to come pick
Enjoyed
you
myself,
up,
yeah.
trust me, you're coming back.
Nice, nice.
But I want to talk, you girls discussed this morning out of the clear blue sky that you wanted to write a book together.
Right. We've always talked about doing something together, but it was just timing.
That's right.
We're both writers. She's done columns at
So being
books.
strippers is off the list.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there was a time when it might.
Those columns weren't selling.
We're
The
kinda
books weren't selling.
Yeah.
You had to do something for money.
There
We're
you
just
go.
like a good story with an old book sleeve. That's why we can't
Great.
strip anymore.
Yeah.
We're that- Same story, just different cover, right?
The forward has gone downward
Exactly.
and backward, as they say. But
I love
anyway,
that.
you girls want to write a book, and you told me a little bit about it, which I think
Right,
is
and
really
Gina can
exciting.
start because then I'll ask for, I mean, we are going to need some help from the public, so we are going to do that. But go ahead and tell them what the,
What the storyline is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, you know how you drive by those graveyards for planes?
Right.
And every time I drive by them, I see these planes, and you have to imagine, I mean, like Donna does the same thing. We go by and we see what the story behind the plane.
Yeah, you wonder.
You wonder.
What mission was
our
that
mind is
plane?
constantly going when
Yeah.
we write.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
it's
can't-
just,
Yeah, you can't stop, but even Donna, I want to know her story. What makes
Yeah.
her tick?
Don't ask.
I know, right? She'll tell me, so I don't have to worry about
I'm
it.
trying to tell you ladies, but I am an open book.
You've heard of War and Peace? There you go.
That's probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's that
That's
thick
really-
too.
looking like Angie Dickinson.
There you go.
Yeah, I think
She
so.
does. She
Doesn't
does look like Angie.
I know.
She
See, the
does.
writer in
That's
us
what
is
Ron
completely
Masak said to me one
sidetracked
time.
now.
He goes, "You look exactly like Angie, a
You
young
do.
Angie Dickinson."
You
I said,
do.
I've heard that, but she's
I know. I was staring
beautiful.
at her yesterday like 15 minutes, and I'm like, she's talking, and I'm not hearing a word she's saying because I'm thinking to myself, who the hell does she look like? And then I
And
said
doesn't
it.
she
Yeah.
look like Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island?
Yes. Yes. And if you
That's
say
so
I look
funny.
like Bob Barker, I'm going to deck you both right
What?
here.
Who would even get that?
Just spay and neuter your animals. That's all. So, Gina, what you want to do is that you want to take and you want to put somebody back in that.
Yeah, we want to
In that
take three
picture.
boys, kind of like Stand By Me. You know, the old stories of
Sure.
three boys on the tracks. There's always something about you put three boys together, or a bunch of boys together, and they go on this adventure. It's fun, and everybody. I know.
This is not personal, is it?
No.
You're not going to go back to the.
No,
Well,
no, no, no,
no,
no.
no,
We're
no.
thinking
I mean,
about-
I'm just saying 3 guys. And 2
Yeah.
This is not.
Go ahead. You take off from here.
No, we want to do this story where actually veterans from different wars come and visit the kids while they're on the plane.
How cool.
And it actually takes them back into time to that era. But that veteran is going to teach them and actually be in full gear, full uniform
How
from that
cool.
time. And we want to start with World War I all the way up. So if there's people out there that have an idea or want to tell their story, they can.
Yeah, we're looking for stories
You know what might
that
be
happen
kind
in
of,
the
you know
plane.
what might be kind of a twist too? You've got, well, people still are out there that, like our movie stars, television stars that were in the service. It
Mm-hmm.
might be kind of cool to get one of them to tell their story along
Right.
with that.
And of course,
Oh,
we
that's a
would
good
use their
idea.
names, we would change that, but at the end, we would acknowledge the fact that they helped us with, the storyline.
And or if they will allow you to use their storyline and what they've gone through. I mean, we've had some unbelievable heroes out there. Audie Murphy, there's Jimmy
yeah.
Stewart. There was a lot of people that were heroes.
I don't think
that-
Jimmy will return my call.
Neither. Well, if he does, hang up. Hang up.
We need
because it's
people
not-
that are kind of here and now today.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a healthy conversation, trust me. But I mean, I think that it would be really interesting to go back and and to see. But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
fun to know what happened in those planes. Because I think when things are going on, I was telling her a story about my uncle that I won't share, but he actually landed a plane that kept crashing.
Oh, my.
And so he had to bring it back. And so what was going through his mind at the time that he was able to land it, so they could actually figure out what was wrong with the plane, so they stopped, exploding
Are you guys going to
in
do
air.
a Mile High section? A Mile High club section?
These are like 12-year-olds in the
Who was
plane,
that lady
okay?
visiting those little boys?
That's you.
Oh, no.
No, actually, that's her part.
No, thank you. But I think that would really be it would be great to find out how the certain things that went on.
Well, fun way to teach history, I think.
It is.
You
See, that's
know?
just it. I mean, we're going to have to go to the history books to learn about World War I, obviously.
And the graveyard. We need to go to
Now,
the
was
graveyard.
Bush Senior he was shot down in a plane, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I think he
for sure.
was.
Yeah, he
parachuted
yeah.
out.
He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, but his
So
plane
that would
crashed.
probably mean yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we want pilots, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think it'd be great. Well, we're going to have to take a short break. We're going to come back and hit you up with our hot topics, so don't go away. We're coming right back.
Yes, just between us is spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. And now back to Just Between Us.
Welcome back. What the hell are you guys drinking in your coffee? Could you tell me?
The bumpa.
The bumpa.
Oh, I had put this morning. Now I got the bumpa. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day
Back
to
at ya.
you.
You girls ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, a Texas University student released blueprints online that would allow anyone to make their own gun by using a 3D printer. Now, the gun, which has been named the Liberator, is made it's made of 15 plastic pieces and one metal piece, but the blueprints also include instructions on how to replace the metal piece with the plastic one. So what do you think of the idea of anybody to be able to make their own guns?
I think it's totally wrong because then you're
It's
not
sick.
able to background check people, which I think we do need to do. I'm totally for background checks.
California's got some really
Especially
good
if somebody's
laws.
cuckoo.
Yeah.
They've been in and out of mental institutions. You want to let them buy a gun? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm totally
We need to
against that.
California has a very good background
Yeah.
program. However, the only thing I'm going to say is this. Bad guys will always get a gun
Exactly.
Yeah,
underground.
yeah.
They're the ones that are
They're-
making these guns.
I
They're the
believe we
ones-
should have our own guns.
They're
I
the ones
totally
that-
believe that. I mean, that's just my own opinion. I mean,
But
everybody
we
has
need-
their own, and God knows our country is completely separated right now on this issue.
We need to
it's bad.
have
We need checks.
we need to checks, and we need to think more about the mentally disturbed people.
But what about
that-
this? You can actually print this up on a
Yes.
3D plastic maker.
Yes,
And now
make a
I
gun.
heard that. I mean, what if this thing can shoot?
it
It
can.
can shoot.
It can.
So to me, that's just sickening,
I don't get that.
Well, you
That's-
could carry this on a plane.
and it could actually hurt someone.
It's a normal gun.
It's a normal gun. It has the capacity of.
And they were saying, we go through metal detectors, not plastic
I was
detectors.
going to say,
at the
you're
airport.
not gonna
I'm just
be able
saying.
to go through
So if they
the-
change that
Yes.
metal
Yeah.
piece to
Plastic.
plastic and it still shoots.
Right. Even if it's a one-time shot thing and it falls apart, who cares? The damage is done.
Now, has this been on the
But-
news, sharing
Yes.
this?
Yes, it
Now, see,
has.
I have a hard time with that. I wish they would just
They-
let things go like that because the more
There,
they
there
talk
we go
about
into
it,
the media that we were talking
yeah,
earlier
the more they're
about.
spreading it,
When
now
I-
everybody's looking.
There you go. For instance, when I did bank security,
Right.
okay, they changed the bills and gave them a new look because of money laundering and of forgeries. A lot of forgery. Counterfeit,
Counterfeit, yeah.
and that were out there. So the government spent millions, hundreds of millions, changing our currency, and because of this counterfeiting and money laundering. You don't think that those guys came back up? Give them a year,
Exactly.
and they're going to do the same thing.
That's right.
I mean, you cannot control the clandestine market out there, people
Right.
that are doing wrong. You
Right.
can't. It's like they're talking about the drug issue in the United States and this and that. The drug issue is done and over with. You should have addressed it 30 years ago. You make too much money on drugs coming in and
That's
out of
true.
this country that nobody is going to fight them. It's not
Right,
going to
yeah,
happen.
true.
It is not going to happen. So this thing's the same thing with gun control. Guns get in the hands of,
Yeah, you
of
can't stop
evil
it.
and wicked
Yeah, you
people.
can't stop
but do
it.
they go to a gun place and fill out the application and go through the channels?
No, they buy it off the street.
No,
Yeah.
they buy it off the street. This is the point that a lot of people don't understand. There are more guns underground than people going out and buying them
Right.
legally.
Oh, absolutely.
But something like this, when they show that you can make a plastic gun online, that is so irresponsible of the news media to put this out there.
They
Here
do
you
that.
go.
Google
It's like
also,
every
I
time
think
they
they
do, they
should
go,
be
why are we
responsible."
giving people ideas?
Bombs. They're teaching people
ridiculous.
how to make a bomb online.
Exactly.
You know, where does your
And
personal
that's where the
responsibility-
reporting to me
right.
is totally irresponsible.
Right.
We don't need to put it out there. That's
Yeah,
where
well-
things should be cut off. And unfortunately it is, but
There's no personal responsibility when
Right.
it's filling the coffers with money.
That's right.
And let's
Mm-hmm.
face it, these people are basically, they're whorish. That's all
Oh,
it is.
yeah, it's all about
They're-
money.
It's all about the God
That's
almighty
right.
dollar. And
That's
you're
right.
going to have people now on planes that now they're going to have to go back and rethink everything again. I don't want to fly if I know
I don't
somebody
either.
that
I don't
has
like to
something.
fly
Plastic gun. Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
not funny.
And you
I
think
mean,
it's a
really not
squirt gun,
funny.
and oh, ha ha ha, and boom, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
You know, so
No.
no, I think that the people that are responsible for this, and if I'm not mistaken, the printers were what, a couple grand,
200.
$200.
$200
These guys
For
are
a printer?
for a 3D printer. Yes.
Yeah, they're selling them for like $200-300, and they cost thousands. So there you go.
I don't get this. This is just so cartoonish. I mean, I can't.
I know.
Well,
I'm
it's
like
like
trying
it-
to wrap my mind around this going, this
It's
is
like science
a cartoon.
fiction. It's like science fiction.
It is.
And no.
It's like, what are we going to go back in time soon? You know, time travel's next. This is just bizarre. You can
Well,
make
if time
a gun out
travel
of plastic.
if time travel makes me firm again, I'm going. I'm getting
I'm going with you.
first class, baby. I'm
Yeah.
doing it. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.
Hey, if you want to get a hold of us, we're at 223-4877, or you can fax us at 223-4866, or you can email us at bookme@tspntv.com. Gina, thank you so much for being with us
thanks.
today.
It was fun.
It was wonderful meeting you with
I got
you.
to roll the dice.
Yes, you did. You're such a big girl now.
Thank you.
That a girl. Hey,
A true gambler.
And I want to tell you, my love, please, you've got to write that book, and your show is magnificent. I am
Thank
so
you.
glad that you decided to do this, because it is just, it's something, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And it is something that we need, and you're doing such a good job. And I also want to talk, when you come back and visit again, there's going to be a big event going on that we're going to try to get special wheelchairs for our
Yes.
disabled veterans. And I think it's going to be very, very important. It's a special chair that does all kinds of things for people, and I'm hoping that maybe we can get something going here. I know they cost, I think it's like $10,000, but if we can donate $2,000, I mean,
To help,
my
right.
goodness,
That would be wonderful.
that would be great to help.
Count me in.
But we're going to have to work on something like
We will
that.
work something
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
We can announce it on all our shows.
Yeah,
Once we
and
get something
maybe we
going.
can find some more information about it, and we can talk about it on your show.
And Gina will be on my show next week, so I want
Great.
everybody to tune in on Tuesday at noon, because you don't want to miss it. She's bringing Owie. Owie Bow Wowie.
Oh,
I'm
Owie
so
Bow
excited.
Wowie.
Owie's coming.
Oh, cute! I can't wait.
Owie
to
will
see
be
it.
here. It's
I
so
think
cute.
I'm gonna have to.
I'll have to leave you one, and he can be your mascot.
Yeah, we
on
need
your
an Owie
show.
for the
You know
table.
what?
Seriously.
That would be
He
great.
should be.
And I want them to please make a tape of it, because I'm gonna miss the show, but I want to see this lovely lady. I wish everybody a wonderful
Yeah.
Mother's Day, especially our military mothers out there, that if anybody knows, please text them, Skype them, tell them that we're all thinking of them, and they're
Thank
in
you
our
to the mothers serving. Yeah,
and in our prayers. And to all the kids out there that their moms are serving, be proud of them, because they are magnificent. And with that, I want
Watch
to
us
thank
online,
I
too.
want to thank you for your son's service.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And Kyle, God bless you.
Thank
I
you
know-
to Glenn.
I know
He
you're
was-
out there in
Kyle.
in harm's way, and Jesse and all of them. So we
still
we
out
have
there.
you in our have you in our thoughts and our prayers. And with that, girls, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
back at
Day.
Yeah, I'm a mother and a grandma.
My two favorite girls. I'm like, this is like a great Mother's Day gift today.
Yeah,
I know,
it's
me
a lot
too.
of fun.
Fun, huh?
It is.
I know.
It is.
Have a great
I know.
week.
Goodbye.